Hey, what's up, friends? Welcome to episode number 7 of the Get Rooted in Health podcast. So glad that you have tuned in today. We are in for a great topic talking about 3 basic things to start improving your health. I'm super excited for it, but today we're going to start things off with a review. So this one comes from Emmy Fink. She says, so encouraging. Gabby is exactly the kind of woman you want to listen to. She is so knowledgeable and has such a joyful attitude towards life. She inspires me to thrive and grow. She encourages a lifestyle of healthy eating and is very passionate about how good movement is for our bodies, all through the perspective of honoring God. This podcast is truly a gem. Wow, thank you so much. That just really melted my heart. And I love everything that you said there, and I just appreciate so much you taking the time to do that. So if you have not rated and reviewed the show, it means the world to me if you would go ahead and pause this for a moment, scroll down, leave a review, and just leave your honest rating and review, whatever it is. I am so grateful for it. And if you have not yet emailed me with any topic ideas, feel free to email me at gabby.flater@getrootedinhealth.com. You will be able to reach me there with anything that you want to see more on the show. I love hearing feedback from you guys and want to be able to bring you exactly what you are looking for. So feel free to do that. And my email is in the show notes below. But again, that is gabby.flater@getrootedinhealth.com. All right, let's jump into today's episode. Hey friend, welcome to the Get Rooted in Health podcast. I'm Gabby Flater, a faith-led wife, mom of 3, certified nutrition consultant, personal trainer, and passionate about changing lives. I know how frustrating it can be to navigate the health and wellness world. You want to be motivated to prioritize your well-being and wish you were more educated when it comes to cultivating a healthy home. Maybe you're a mom who's completely burnt out and needs a fresh perspective on life. Or you're searching for a place to feel seen, heard, and encouraged in a godly manner. No matter if you're doing the dishes, getting your sweat on, or drinking reheated coffee while watching the kids play, there is always an opportunity for growth. If you are ready to finally take action about these desires and are ready to learn, grow, and transform your mind, then you are in the right place. It's time to establish deeper roots so you can enjoy a more fruitful and fulfilling harvest. Let's dig in. All right, guys, so we are chatting about 3 basic things to start improving your health. Kind of going back to, a little bit of my macro coaching days. I don't know if anyone that's listening was a part of my Get Macro Fit program and what did I call it? Macro lifestyle or something like that. Fueled Up. We changed it to Fueled Up. This was a program I did with a former business partner of mine, Sandy, and we loved it and learned a lot from it. And I've moved on from it, but in a good way. Like, it wasn't bad, but it was a great stepping stone. And I'll be shining more light on this topic of macros, what are macros, tracking your food, and just how that can be a good tool to kind of jumpstart some things for you in terms of health goals. But today I just kind of want to focus on some basic things and just how to really, what can I start doing to just give myself a little jump start. And, sometimes we think that we got to go ham and we got to go do all the things. We got to get to the gym at 5 a.m. We got to crush, my cardio for an hour and, make sure I'm eating only 800 calories and, sleeping very little. And society has just taught you wrong. Let's just say that. Okay. And I want you to really thrive, and I really want you to find real success long term. And so one thing that I really have learned along the way is this is life. This is a marathon. It is not a sprint. So let's just cut the diet stuff. Let's just cut the magic potions and shakes and pills. And I don't want to say programs because they're helpful. But thinking that is always the solution when honestly, it's you. It's you deciding to take matters into your own hands and starting to educate yourself like you are with this podcast and using those tools and resources to implement what what is already created, like not like a formulated shake or just an expensive thing. Like honestly, like just the things that are grown from the earth and the way God intended for your bodies to cycle through detoxing and sleep and rest and light, like daytime and nighttime. And our society's just really stripped away so much of that like natural rhythm and rhyme of what our bodies crave and what they need. Like we're always overstimulating it and not allowing it and giving it the opportunity to just thrive with basic things. And then we just get stuck into the culture of diet culture. And there's just so much drama with that. And people, how many of you have hopped on and done something and sure, you had great success, but how many of you gained the weight back or the bad habits back and then more? Okay? Or how many of you did something and then started to have a whole other host of problems? Maybe you didn't really need to lose as much weight as you thought, and then you just ended up like having extra fatigue, extra burnout, hormones out of whack, hair falling out, no period, like all these things. Like there was a point in my life when I lost my period, and that'll be a great topic to touch on. But just understanding that there's no like, and I know you guys know this, there's no one size fits all type thing, but you have to understand our bodies are so complex and so beautifully designed, and you have to start tuning into it and listening and allowing experts to really educate you. You got to start filling your brain with knowledge. And I know there's so much out there. So you're like, Gabby, but where do I even start? It's so oversaturated with articles and businesses and products. Like, how do I know what to trust and what not to trust? And honestly, when it's someone who is super hard and fast with something, when someone's trying to tell you, when you get that feeling that someone's saying this is the one way, vegan is the one way, paleo is the way, don't eat any fat or eat all the fat. Like, okay, I'll just be honest. I'm at a place in my life, I don't follow any rules. I don't really, I deal with my own junk mentally, yes, when it comes to like body image and certain hangups around certain foods. And, that'll be good conversation to keep having here on this podcast. But I want to just caution you to just be careful of people that really are one track minded, that try to sell you tons of stuff and tell you that you just got to stay on this program. But guess what? You're not going to stay on that program forever. Like, we're designed to just want to eat and not be bound by like measuring and drinking liquids and popping pills and gummies, and I don't even know what else is out there. But like, I did some of that stuff, and it just was ended up being a lot of money, even though they're like, no, it's an investment in your health. And yeah, okay, but I got other kids, and I've got a husband who wasn't always, they're not doing all that stuff. And so I was spending a lot of money on me, and it just didn't make sense. So just want to kind of bring it all, full circle here, and I just thought of 3 things right now. There are so many things I could talk about. But 3 things that came to mind right away when I wanted to just encourage you in making steps towards improving your health. The first one that came to mind was fasting. Now you're going to be like, Gabby, intermittent fasting, like either you're like all for it or you're like all against it. And I'm actually here to kind of meet you in the middle. I'm not super fond of women. So here's the thing. With a lot of studies, when someone talks to you about intermittent fasting and all the perks of 18, hour fasting, or you only have a certain eating window of like 4 hours, and women start doing that, a lot of studies that you're hearing people talk about and the success and stuff is all based off of men. And that gives females such a disadvantage, because then we hear this stuff and we try it. And I'm not saying all of the studies, you have to do your own research and pay attention to who you're listening to. I know some of you are very knowledgeable in this area and have found things that work for you. And this, again, is not a one size fits all, but in the general female world and population, and anyone in general, men too, fasting 12 to 14 hours does beautiful things for your body. So that just looks like stopping eating at 8 p.m. and you don't eat till 8 a.m. or 7 p.m. to 7 a.m. or 7 p.m. to 9 a.m. There's that extra 2 hours, for 14 hours. And when you go longer than that, your body it really messes with females' hormones. But what happens is a beautiful thing that happens in the 12 to 14 hours is your body is allowed the opportunity to wind down at night when we're not eating late. And that can happen every now and again, but if you're doing that every night, I would challenge you with that. You're going to have better rest and the ability to sleep better, and your body to detox and flush out the toxins. That time that you are not eating, and especially that time when you're sleeping, is a huge portion of when your body starts to process everything. And I just picture it like separating all these different shapes and colors and things. And it's like, okay, this goes here, this goes there. They're not working, they're not eating, they're just resting. So here we go. We're doing it. And it's just sorting all the things and all the nutrients it wants to use here. And then it's like, okay, this is all the stuff we want to get rid of and flush it out. And so it's doing a lot of work while we're sleeping. And if we bog it down with, the food at night, and then, or just stuffing your face right away in the morning without allowing that time, that 12 to 14 hours for it to do its full cycle, you're not reaping the best benefits of a simple, free, very doable thing that you can do for your body. And if you pair that with some walking in the morning, very low intensity heart rate I'm talking like, everyone's got smart watches or Fitbits these days. So heart rate between, 110 and 130, kind of all depends on the person. But when if you do like a 30 to 45 minute walk in that fasted state, that does wonders for your body as well. Really taps into those fat stores and really uses those for energy. And you might really just see improvements by just implementing this one thing, and it's completely free to you. So fasting 12 to 14 hours, no longer, unless you are working with someone or you are highly educated in what that would look like for you. With fasting, keeping it at that, and pair it with some walking if you want, in the mornings, 3 days a week, and you'll start feeling better. Another thing would be just kind of start paying attention to the foods that you're eating. And I talked about, macros and tracking. So one thing, macros are the three main components that make up your food: fats, proteins, and carbs. They're the biggest source of your calories. Those are what make up the calories, okay? But one of them I want to focus on is protein. And when you start to track your food, you may start to notice that you maybe don't get as much protein as you should be. A good rule of thumb is about 0.5 to 0.8 grams per pound of body weight for your protein intake. People that lift and work out often, those of you that do that, 0.8 to 1 gram per pound of body weight. So if you weigh 135 pounds and you are an avid lifter and workouter person, I think I just made up a word, workouter, fitness person, and you love hitting the gym, you should be getting close to that 135 grams, as much as your body weight, is. So, but for general rule of thumb, 0.5 to 0.8 grams per pound of body weight. So you would just take your weight and multiply that by 0.08 or 0.05, and that would tell you what that would be. Hopefully I did that math right, but if not, just Google that. So just tracking a little bit, and protein is the one I wanted to focus on, was just implementing a little more protein. It's going to make you feel more satiated, more full for longer. It's going to do wonders in muscle recovery, muscle repair, and it is really, it's a huge building block to getting leaner and just feeling fuller, and it's great to have in a good, healthy amount for your diet. One way that I explained it in some of my coaching programs was, think of it like adding logs to a fire. So your metabolism is the fire, and the protein are the logs, and the more protein you add in, the more heat that's generated, the more that metabolism, that fire is going to be burning hotter and hotter, and so you're revving up that metabolism with that extra protein. So just think of it that way, and if you have no idea where you're at, I would track it for a little bit, because that is where you're going to get a baseline and where you need to see improvement, and that is where I find tracking to be super helpful. So adding more protein into your day, that is can be super simple to do, and whether or not you follow a certain diet, you have to find those sources for you. And there's a lot of protein if you actually looked at protein in like vegetables, like broccoli, you would be surprised actually what's in a serving. I don't remember and recall it off the top of my head, but I was quite surprised one time when I looked. But things like chicken breasts and turkey and, lean ground beef and let's see, we got tuna, we have eggs. Egg whites are an easy way to add in extra protein. Add some of those extra with, with some eggs or on the side, adding protein powder to, your smoothie, or to your oatmeal, or to your yogurt. There's Greek yogurt, there's regular yogurt. There's just so much out there. And so you just have to get resourceful, have fun with it, and just plan and set yourself up for success. Have these things on hand. Have some easy things, whatever you prefer for your go-to source. We have these amazing grass-fed beef sticks from Paleo Valley. We order them online. We love having them on hand. Super easy way to get an extra, 6 to 8 grams of protein. Great snack. So, you just have to find what works for you within, the ways that you eat. So, and just watch how that helps you, start your day off with some good protein and some healthy fats, and you're going to feel fuller for longer, and you're not going to be reaching for that muffin or whatever sugary thing just to help curb that hunger because you didn't eat enough for breakfast, or you didn't fulfill enough of that protein intake at that time in the morning. So just really will benefit you and do you wonders starting off your day for sure with that, but really focusing on getting a good amount at each meal. And here's a tip, like if you figure out what that amount is in grams for, how much protein you are to be consuming. Say you want to eat like 4 or 5 times a day. You could divide that amount, let's go back to that 135 grams, divide that by 4, and you should aim for that much protein at each meal. So, just kind of play around with it. Obviously snacks may not be as higher in the protein, but, maybe have those 2 snacks split up. So when you add it together, it would be as if you had a whole meal and fulfilled that protein amount there. So I hope that encourages you and is helpful there. And then just another thing is really just being aware of your sugar intake. That's the third thing. I really want you just to focus on where are you loading on the sugar, okay? It's so highly consumed and overused in so many products and things that people don't even think about. Like you just don't think about it. I have trained myself, so yes, I'm the weird one. I honestly, I don't prefer starting my day with creamer in my coffee that has 5 grams of sugar in a tablespoon because I know I'm not going to stop at a tablespoon. And that's only for like every now and again. And I don't like to use the word treat because I have a lot of hangups around food words and diet words. But like I look at it as a special time to be able to have that. And I don't want to fall into the habit of relying on that kind of a creamer for my coffee every morning, when I know that I definitely love my coffee black, but I can definitely be okay with adding the stevia to sweeten it. And I'm good to go that way. But there are the mornings when adding a little maple syrup to my coffee is wonderful, but just being mindful of how much goes in. So I would just encourage you to open your eyes, go read some of the things that you eat on a daily basis, go look at the labels, and just check out what the added sugars say. Check out what kind of products you're eating that are just processed, boxed, or bagged items, and carbs turn into sugar. So just being mindful of like those kinds of things that you're consuming. I'd rather you be consuming like a sweet potato or just a regular potato over like potato chips or crackers or whatever. Like it's a better, wholesome, nutrient dense option than those kinds of things. But sugar hides itself in so much, guys. Check out your condiments, go in your fridge, check out your ketchup, check out your salad dressings, any barbecue sauce for all my BBQ lovers. Check it out, and you might need to start making some swaps. So just being mindful of the sugar intake, and especially even at nighttime, like sure, we all love to have our, a little dessert, and that's awesome. Love it. I did too. So just being mindful, some nights it should just look like some really dark chocolate. And other nights it can be ice cream or a cookie or whatever you made, but just being mindful of sometimes that doesn't allow you to sleep well, the extra sugar. I remember when we were celebrating our birthdays a couple weeks ago, our thing, we are not cake people, but I'm a sucker for some good ice cream. And if you've not had Costco's ice cream, Costco's just going to have to sponsor me one of these days. We're just going to have to put it out there. Costco's ice cream, guys, is so good. The vanilla, oh my gosh, it's the best. And it only has like 4 or 5 ingredients versus when we used to buy Kemp's and we would feel just crummy after it and have such gut rot because the ingredients were junk. But that's what we grew up with. And so then all of a sudden, we just ventured off and found something better. It's so creamy. And the ingredients don't make us feel crummy. But anyway, so we love making ice cream cake. We're not cake people, but ice cream. So we make ice cream cake probably only once or twice a year for ourselves. And my husband and I, we make that for our birthdays, and we share it for like a week. And if it lasts that long, I'll be honest, we didn't let our kids have any. My mom made me a cake this year. She's like, don't make yourself a cake. So I was like, okay, so the kids got that. And I had some of it too. It was great. And, but then my husband's birthday is close to mine. So we made this one, and, we consumed it all. So one night I had it super late, and I had a little more than I wanted, but I was just like, I made this, and like 2 days before we were going to have it. And I was just like dreaming of it. Like, I just want to eat it. So I may have had a little more than I probably planned on, especially after having a dinner out with him and a drink. But yeah, we put the kids to bed, and I was like, I'm having this cake. And I just didn't sleep well. I woke up a lot, and to be honest, I had like these weird hot flashes, and I don't know. I did not feel good. So just paying attention to what that does for you at nighttime. And just being mindful of that. I make a lot of things either with like cutting the sugar in half, or I've learned to bake with monk fruit, or just really cutting back on that, or just keeping it, sweetened with fruit, or I love using, sugar is sugar. So when you're using honey or coconut sugar or maple syrup, those so-called cleaner sugars, like sugar is sugar, okay? So if you're going to use a cup of sugar or a cup of syrup, both things are sugar. So it's just different sourced. And just wanted you to be mindful of that. So fasting paired with some walking, making sure you're getting enough protein in your diet based on your level of activity in life. Make sure that you, track that for a little while to kind of get a baseline and know where you're going and how to make adjustments, and just reducing your sugar intake and swapping things out, and just going and reading. First step is reading the labels of what you have in your fridge and in your pantry, and assessing what things you're eating on a regular basis each day, so that you can make better informed decisions. That is my goal, is always to help you make better informed decisions. You're free to do whatever the heck you want, okay? If you want to go and get your Slurpee or Slushie or whatever you call those things, Frosties or something from, Speedway or a gas station, and that's your jam, okay, great. But you didn't hear that encouragement from me to go do that all the time. You know where you need to make adjustments and what will make you feel better, and we just have to be willing to make that happen. So with that being said, I hope that you found value here. I hope you took notes. I hope that this was encouraging. As always, share this with a friend who would benefit from this, and I'm just so grateful for you guys and for this time spent with you. I look forward to our next episode next week and chatting with you guys then, but I hope that you have an amazing week. Be blessed, and we will chat soon. Bye.